everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And I'm so excited because this is the final episode of the year 2025. And this has been one heck of a year. We have interviewed so many authors, and we have gone through so much. And we have done so many things, and I'm just happy. And tonight we are going to be talking with two Meet the World Image Solutions clients. And I'm really happy to talk with them tonight because I'm talking with one Meet the World publishing client, and I'll be talking with another Meet the World promotions client. And I'm really proud of the work both of them have been doing. Super excited for them, and just to watch them grow as authors. It's just been amazing, and to watch them grow in their ministries as well. So this is going to be a great night, and I hope that you all are here for it, and I want you to support their books. And don't just support, because when I say support, I don't just mean buy the book, put it on the bookshelf like what you see here, just put it on a bookshelf and then never think about the book again. When I say support, I mean I want you to buy the book, I want you to read the book, and then I want you to leave a review about the book so that other people can purchase the book. That's what we talk about when we say support. I want you to pour into that author and encourage those authors so that they can feel encouraged and write more books, so they can pour into more readers. That's what we do when we support authors. That's what this platform, the Horizons Author Lounge, is all about. So, but without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our first guest, Miss Jairae Taylor. And
Hello.
are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for being my second to final guest in the Horizons Author Lounge for the year 2025.
Yes, I'm super excited to be here and just tell you all about 2025 because it's been one heck of a year, like you said.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Well, before we get started, I just want to congratulate you on your book. I'm, going through the process of helping you to publish the book. I read the book quite a few times, and I felt like I got something from it every time I read it. I got something a little different from it. And I think before we can even jump into the book, to understand the book is to understand you. So if you can tell the audience a bit about yourself.
Mhm. So, a bit about me and who I am. Again, my name is Jairae Taylor, and I feel like me writing this book, and I love how you said like as you were, doing the edits and stuff, you got something different from it each time. Because as I was writing the book, I was actually going through a lot of healing in writing the book. It was constantly giving me new revelation of what God was showing me. And it was almost like He was trying to get me to understand. The thoughts that I was having within and showing me who I am in Him. So it was a lot of trying to understand my identity. To give you a little bit of background about me, I feel like since my parents found out that they were pregnant with me, the enemy has always tried to take me out of here, like in the womb and when I was a child, just constantly trying to find a way to take my life. And at the time, as I was going through that process, I didn't understand why he was attacking me so much. And it wasn't until this year that God has showed me that, hey, the enemy was trying to take you out way back when, because your voice has power, and your voice has the power to free people, and that is why you went through so many trials and tribulations at such a young age. And even now, because I feel like as we grow older, I know for me, I felt like I went through all the hard stuff early
Mm,
on, and it was like I had finally got to the point in my life where it was just like I can breathe. And it was
yes.
like new level, new devil. So
Yeah, I
it's
knew that.
definitely be it's a teachable moment. I feel like no matter what season in life we're in, we're always constantly learning. And I feel like that is what my life has taught me. Especially just being a wife and a community advocate, being able to have the opportunity to just walk with families and understand. Because in my book, I talk a lot about, childhood traumas and things
Yeah.
that I overcame. But I feel like as I get older and just look back on the things that I overcame, and having the opportunity to walk with different people throughout their life, it gives me a new outlook on life, and just shows me um how life really works, and that we don't go through a lot of things in vain. Everything that we go through is for a reason, whether it be for us to grow, or to grow through that and then pass it along to the next person. So yeah.
Well, there was one part of your book that really struck me, was the story of how you met your husband and the process of learning to trust that he really loved you.
Hmm.
And um, it was like, it was almost as if you didn't feel that you deserved his love at first.
Honestly, I didn't, because with reading my book, I talk about a lot of things that developed early on in my childhood. And it was almost like I talk heavily about the spirit of perversion, and I go into how that spirit can begin to distort the mind, especially in a young child, and it begins to have you misconstrue your identity, and have you misunderstanding what love is. So early on in life, I developed, or my thought process on love, it was tied to a lot of unhealthy behaviors, and I thought that expression of love, you had to feel, pain or heartache, or you had to, put so much into it. So, when God allowed me to meet my husband, I had to unlearn a lot of those behaviors, and I had to learn that love is patient and love is kind. You don't have to endure those things in order to actually experience true love. And when I go in and talk about, what I experienced with my husband, it was like God was opening up my eyes and showing me that the love that he's giving you is the love that I am trying to give you, the love that I give, to the church. Because we as believers, I feel like everybody has a past, everybody has traumas and just things hidden in that closet that nobody wants to talk about. And God, he loves us unconditionally, and I feel like it was such a beautiful thing for me to be able to experience God's love here on earth through my husband.
Yeah. And speaking, you know what? We're talking a lot about the book. We've got to show them the book.
So this is the book, Hidden Treasures in Darkness. I know I kind of got like a glare on it, but
Yeah.
this, even as far as like the picture, I don't know. I just feel like it's all God. I give him all the glory and all the honor, because as you can see, it looks like a girl just like sitting in the middle of darkness, but yet you see this light just flashing down on her. And when he gave me that vision, it was almost like he took me back to, I'm not a Bible scholar, but it's somewhere in the Bible. I want to say it's Isaiah chapter 45 and 3, where um God begins to anoint Cyrus, and he pretty much along the lines in the scripture. I'm not going to state it verbatim, but he's like, I am going to pretty much give you the secrets and the riches in darkness. And I feel like that's what God did to me. Of course, during the process, I didn't understand it because everything, when you are in that storm, everything
Right,
just looks
right.
dark. And it wasn't until I actually came out of that storm, I was able to see all of the treasures that came from it. And it also just kind of reminds me of, a diamond being put under pressure and the refining process that it has to go through. Like, it has to go through a very ugly process. And I feel like that was me. I had to go through um, darkness in order to see the light.
Amen. Amen. Now another part that struck me was your journey to finding Christianity. And
Yes.
I remember the scene of you being invited to church and you thought that you were just dropping knowledge. You you were like,
Yes.
um I, I I think you I cannot remember what you called it. It was your belief at the time, and I forgot what it
Mhm.
was called. It slips my mind at the
New
time.
age practices.
Thank you. The new age
Yes.
practices. And you just thought you were dropping knowledge. You were like, you just thought you were telling them all of these things, but you were kind of exposing yourself.
I sure
But
was and didn't even realize it.
right, but it was kind of good that it happened because that wound up being your doorway to to opening yourself up to the Lord.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you talk a bit about that experience? Because I love that you included that experience in the book.
Yeah. I feel like I have to, especially in today's society, because I feel like so many people are walking around lost in the world. And it's so many, different religions and practices and things like that. And I know for me, and I feel like I don't just speak for myself. I know that it is people who are going through the same situation. So I felt like it was my duty to speak up on it. So I know for me, just being that lost soul, wanting to, find that inner peace and fill that void that I had within, I began to seek out these new age practices. And these new age practices, if you are not familiar or aware of it, you can easily be what's the word, drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I was drawn to it because, they talk a lot about, healing your inner self and doing like internal work. And then they dress it up with like doing shadow work or,
Oh,
um,
and you see that so much right now on TikTok.
yes, shadow
Everybody's talking
work.
about this shadow work right now.
Yes. Shadow work, tarot cards,
Yeah.
crystals, being able to do like scripting to be able to manifest the reality you want. And it all just sounds so good because it gives you this like authority to be able to say, hey, I can speak that into life. And I'm not saying that because God gives us the same authority, but it's all about the source. And I feel like that's where a lot of people, it's a thin line between light and dark, and I feel like I wanted to
Yeah.
bring that to light, and be able to give people the proper route in order to know that you can achieve internal peace. However, like I said, it's a thin line between how you
Mhm.
access that internal peace. So I am very, very grateful that I had that moment to be exposed. Even though
Wow.
it didn't feel good in the moment. Honestly, I can't even say it didn't even feel good because I didn't even realize what I was doing. Like, it took months for me to actually understand what happened in that moment. But the moment was so powerful because I speak in the book about literally feeling the lightness versus darkness, like battling it out there. So
Mm. Can you expand on that a little bit? I mean, when you talk about the light versus the darkness.
yeah. So to kind of give you an idea, it was almost like a feeling of my heart being in a prison,
Mm.
and it was almost like it was guards standing around my heart, so like nothing could get in, and it was brick walls just being placed up there. And I just remember a moment, a lady, her name's Tiffany Moore, she begins to speak to me, and she just begins to embrace me, and she said, some things that have a hold on you and you have to release it, if you want to change the relationships that you have with people, or you want to see a difference within yourself, like you have to let this go tonight. And I didn't at the time understand what she even meant, until I really, sat and processed what she was saying. But in that moment, what she was saying, that I was allowing strongholds that the enemy placed on me, almost like he had me in bondage or chains.
Wow.
um it was like he had my heart guarded, and I felt the power and the light of God like try to penetrate and actually access my heart. And like I said, I literally felt physically the war within, the light and the darkness. I know that probably sounds like, whoa, that's a lot, but I literally felt that tug of war. And I just remember, going home and thinking about what happened. Because when I tell you my body, I literally felt like I was in a physical fight. And I just remember, like, what in the world was that? And I walked out of that church feeling like I had, I had failed, I had failed God, because I felt like I couldn't release the chains in that moment, and I didn't understand why. And I just remember, like, was it like a shout that I was supposed to do? Was I supposed to run around the church? Like, was it a
Right.
yell? Because religion teaches us that,
Right.
sometimes you
We
got to
think we're
go
supposed to
shout.
fall loud or we're supposed to shout, and I think it takes a certain spiritual maturity to realize that the spirit hits people in different ways.
Yes. Yes, and it wasn't that for me. Like I said, I felt that internal battle, and I just remember Tiffany telling me to go home and listen to soaking sounds. It's pretty much like worship instrumentals. And it was in that moment God met me, and it was like almost I felt like a little baby just being like bonding with their parent. And it was like that's when he began to chip away at those layers that the enemy, had built over time. And
Yes.
I realized in that moment that, like you said, deliverance, we paint this picture like it has to be a action of speaking in tongues or shouting in order to be delivered. And God was showing me deliverance takes place when you surrender to me and just get into my presence. Just get into my presence, and then I'll begin to do the work within you.
Amen. Amen. So that you've been an author for a few months. Um, what has the experience been like? How have people responded to the book?
I have honestly, so um once I actually put the book out, and I feel like even prior to putting the book out, I had a lot of emotions, as far as shame started to rise up in me, or
Mm,
like guilt, or just what would people think? How would people take this? I'm
right,
literally laying out all of my
right. And
dirty
I
secrets.
usually ask people that when they tell me they want to write a book about their life. One of the first questions I usually ask them is, "Are you ready to strip down in front of the world? Are you ready to be judged by people who may never meet you?"
Yeah.
Because when you write a book and you talk about your life, often you are basically telling your business to a bunch of people who may never meet you.
Yeah.
And they're going to be passing judgment, and you're not going to be able to stand over everybody's shoulder and explain what you meant by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
it takes,
I definitely went through that, all of those emotions and feelings, but God was showing me that this is the part of deliverance for you.
Mhm.
This is a part of me breaking off those strongholds, where you don't feel that shame, where you don't feel that guilt. This is where you're going to get your power from, by
Mhm.
releasing those things that you felt like was too dirty to expose. And he said,
Mhm.
when you begin to be vulnerable, not only with yourself, but with me, and even to the point where you can share your testimony, it no longer can be used as a threat to you. Because
Yes.
I feel like in my walk and with God, allowing me to become an author, and begin to get into, like, doing poetry and singing and stuff like that. He said the enemy is going to try to, pull your past. He's going to try to throw anything at you that he can to have those things come out. So why not just lay it all out on the table? And
Right.
I'm going to allow you. It's pretty much, he was just preparing a table in the presence of my enemies. He's just like, we just gonna lay it out here,
Come
and we're
on.
going to lay it out here to the point where you're not going to feel any shame or guilt, because you were able to overcome it, to the point that you're now giving wisdom and strategy of how to overcome it for other people. And I feel like that's what helped me to just be okay with that.
Well, all right. And so now you've had a couple of events where you've been able to get the book out there.
Yes. Yes. So I know with I feel like, as far as with um these past couple of months and having my book out, I haven't been pushing it the way that I should, because life, when I tell you, like I said earlier, I feel like the moment that I said yes to God, I feel like the enemy, he has been coming full force. But the beautiful thing about it is, I'm happy to be a part of God's kingdom, because he's like, this is, I'm giving you strategy, like the same way that, the enemy tried to attack Job.
Hmm.
He's literally, when I tell you, the same exact format of what he did to Job is like how he's been coming at me this year. And God was like, this is what it is. So I feel like, even though I haven't really been able to push the book, because I kind of felt weak within myself, I had other people, community around me, pushing the book on the
And
behalf
that's
of me.
wonderful.
Yes. So it has
Well,
been, it's been a beautiful thing. And then just hearing, people come to me and tell me, like, these are things that I was battling with and nobody knew, like the same exact feelings that you felt, like I felt that. And so many people are going to get free from that, because there's so many people think that they are going through, mental health, or the drug abuse, or
yeah.
the domestic violence, or sexual assault. So many people feel like they are living those experiences alone, and nobody understands, or that pit is too deep for them to be brought out of. And just by
I'll tell
you
you. I'll
yeah,
tell
just by
you.
you speaking it.
Sharing that sexual assault story is
Mhm.
going to help so many people. And there are girls on college campuses who are going through exactly what you described,
Yes.
and they needed to hear your story. I'm so glad that you shared that.
Yes. And it is true. I actually, I had a sit down conversation with a friend a few nights ago, and she was just telling me, because I didn't actually have the experience to, like, live on campus. That was probably like my only experience being on a campus. Maybe few other times, but that was like the main time. And she was just telling me, with her experience of actually living on campus, she had so many friends that went through the same thing, and it was just like, that's a part of it. That's a part of, living the college life. And I'm just like, wow. And how many people are carrying that around, and again, having that shame, or feeling like, what could I have done differently?
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, I just want you to know that, I might be finished with your book, but that doesn't mean that I'm not here to support. So if you still need promotion ideas, if you still need support, I'm still here. and I
Yes,
still don't mind helping you out. So call on me. Let
I
me know
sure
what you
will. I know. I was thinking to myself, I know I'm probably tearing this woman's nerves up. Because, like I said, I was going through how I was just seeing, like, the shame and the guilt was starting to come up for me, and just also the deliverance that was happening as I was writing the book, and then on top of my health was declining, and just all these other things being thrown at me, and it's just like I was like, I'm done. I'm throwing in towel. I don't even want to do this anymore. And then you just kept coming, and you were like, "You ready? Like, we gotta push this. We gotta do this." And I thank you so much for pushing me, because honestly, Jairae, she would have been like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it." But you continue to ignite that fire when I didn't have the strength to move forward.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I wanted to make sure that you stayed encouraged. So,
Yes.
and then, it was encouraging to me too. I really wanted to just get you to the finish line. And but but I'm not that type of person who says just get it done. I
Yeah.
always want to be able to get it done in excellence. I don't want it to be like
Yes.
just get it done. I mean,
Yes.
when I was in the army, I would have soldiers who would say, "I just want to get it done." Like, no, 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 we're not just going to get it done. We're going to get it done in excellence, and we're going to get it done right. Don't just get it
Yeah.
done. you know. So I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure that everything was right for you. So and then the formatter, she was the same way. She wanted to make sure that everything was just right. So she asked
Yeah.
a lot of questions along the way, and I was really glad that I found her. She's my person. So anytime I need anything done, she's the one I go to now. So
Okay.
yeah, so like I said, if you ever need support, you need help, you need advice, I'm here for you.
Yes, I will definitely be in touch. Because like I said, I pushed that out, and it's just like even in the midst of pushing that out, it's just like now it's other things that's coming up, and God is just like, hey, you know, the same way you went through that process, now this season you're not going through this in vain. So I need you to just be writing it down, and that's what I've been doing. So
All right.
maybe a I don't know what's going to come from this. Maybe a book, maybe a devotional. I don't know. We'll see.
A
Maybe it's
devotional would
something.
be great because you were kind of going in that direction anyway with the book. So a devotional seems like a good next step.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get her done. But Jerry, thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement and the kind words. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so show us the book one more time.
This is the book. Oh, and I will also like to say from this book in this year, like I said, I feel like I speak a lot about, different traumatic experiences that I endured. So, with me going through those experiences, like I said, I feel like I didn't do it in vain. And what another thing that was birthed from the trauma was my nonprofit called Oasis Evolve. So that is something that I've also been, trying to lay the foundation with over the course of this year. So I feel like the book and the organization kind of go hand in hand because with the organization, we work with women who just left a domestic violence situation, have children, and our motto is we want you to rise, recover, and rebuild, because I know how it feels to walk away from such a traumatic experience and not know like who you are, like no sense of identity,
Yeah,
financially just ruined. You don't know how you're going to make a way, and then to add on top of all of that, you have a child or you have children. It's really really hard. So Oasis Evolve is a empowerment group. It's a group to allow women to know that this is a safe place. This is a place where you can come and be built back up, because um yeah, I feel like going through that process or any traumatic event, you need to recover. So we are a recovery program, and we want to build women back up to the point where they are confident enough to be able to thrive in life, and not continue those patterns, especially like with their children. Because I'm realizing that, you know, um, and not saying that it's done intentionally. Half the time, it's
Mhm.
never done intentionally, but things can be carried on from one generation to the next. But that's why with our organization, we want to also work with the mom and the children to be able to repair that relationship as well. So we are planning to launch hopefully in the next couple of months, and I'll be giving out more information in regards to that. So I'm super, super excited on what God
Okay.
has in store for us.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So I'm guessing we can find more information about that on your website, Hidden in Harmony.
So you can actually go on to if you just type in Oasis Evolve Inc. You'll see our
Okay.
website on there, and all of the information is on there. If you would like to donate to a seed, become a volunteer, all of that information is on Oasis Evolve Inc. And you can also reach us at 443-614-6838, and you can just text Oasis support now.
Perfect. All right. Once again, thank you so much, Jairae. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
once again.
Thank
And
you.
you keep pushing that book, girl. Keep pushing it
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you are actually gonna help some people.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good night. Have a great one.
Good night. Bye.
All right, that was author Jairae Taylor. The name of her book was Hidden Treasures in Darkness. So we are going to move over to our next guest, Dr. George Walters-Sleyon. But before we move on to him, I want to remind you that there are just over 4 hours left to vote for your favorite author in the second annual For the Culture Book Awards. So if you think that it's all sewn up and that you know the top five, you don't know the top five, because I am telling you, it is so close. It is so close. Like the top five it's separated by just a matter of a few votes. It's crazy. So these are the authors right here. These are the top five, or excuse me, these are the 9 authors who are competing, and one of five of these 9 will be the top five. I will be announcing the top five on January 1st once we tabulate the votes. But that does not mean that we know who the winner of the full winner is going to be yet. But 5 of these 9 authors that you see on the screen right now will be the top 5. But you have to vote. You have to vote. So go to the website www.mtwimagesolutions.com/contest-2025 and click on vote now, and you can click on your favorite author to vote. You can only vote once, and I'm sorry you didn't if you didn't vote before tonight. You can only vote once, so choose wisely. But these authors are depending on your vote, so please make sure you go and vote for your favorite author. They need you. They need you. And then make sure you slide on over to the Black History Month Literary Weekend tab and check out the Black History Month Literary Weekend and what's going on. We have some amazing authors who are going to be a part of the 10th annual, yes, I said it, the 10th annual Black History Month Literary Weekend. We have 14 authors who are going to be a part of that. We're going to be spending 3 days in the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, where the event began. Yes, February 19th through the 21st. It is going to be amazing. And we want to see you there. And if you get your tickets during the month of December, you can get the early bird rate. We are going to have a meet and greet on February 19th. We're going to have a writer's workshop, book signing at Barnes and Noble. We're going to have a comedy night at Cafe Istanbul. All of that on February 20th. And then we're going to have the Ivory and Cream Affair Literary Jazz Brunch on February 21st. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. We do have an all-access ticket if you want to attend all of the events and do all of the things, or you can just purchase one event. Maybe you just want to go to the comedy show. Maybe you just want to go to the Ivory and Cream Affair. Whatever it is, if you just want to do one thing or that thing, but whatever it is you want to do, you can find all of the information right here, www.mtwimagesolutions.com. Go and check it out. And if you want to meet one of the authors who's going to be there, then stay tuned, because you're about to meet our next guest, Dr. George Walters-Sleyon. Are you there, Dr. George? Because I'm about to bring you on stage. I need you to turn your camera on. Hello, Dr. George.
How are you? How are you? How are you?
I'm
I'm
wonderful. You
trying to
so
get
busy.
this. I'm trying to get this on Facebook so it can be on my Facebook page.
Okay. Do you see where it says stream to your audience?
Yes. Okay,
Okay,
Facebook.
click on that. Yeah.
Okay, Facebook. Okay, profile.
Mm-hmm. You got it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, continue.
Okay, you're still going. Got it?
O- Okay, is that it?
Yeah. You good?
Yep. I think it's logged in to my profile. Or
All right. I think I'm doing it right. That's what the young people do. I think that's what they do. Okay. So we can go ahead and start the interview now.
okay. Okay, what's the interview? Let's interview with Dr. Wonderboss. All right.
We good?
Yes. Okay.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So before we get started, tell everybody, who is Dr. George Walters-Sleyon?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Dr. George Walters-Sleyon. I'm also a Reverend Minister, which is Reverend Dr. George Walters-Sleyon, an ordained minister in the AME Church, African Methodist Episcopal Church, and pastor of St. James AME Church in Danbury, Connecticut. I'm also a professor. I teach at Bunker Hill Community College, teach several courses, quite interdisciplinary. I teach Intro to Philosophy, Applied Ethics, Sociology, World Religions, Intro to Criminology, uh, and Sociology as well. So I'm a father of two kids and married, and yeah, doing everything. Have 6 books. The Rush for Black Diamonds is a 2-volume work. and with other 4 books and several articles as well.
And you just released volume 2 of The Rush for Black Diamonds.
Indeed. So this is volume 2 of The Rush for Black Diamonds. I'm quite excited about it. And this is volume 1.
So now, before we jump into the book, can you talk to me about why it's called The Rush for Black Diamonds? Because some people might think that you're actually talking about like the gold rush, but this is not actually about the precious stones, so to speak.
No, it's not. Actually, Black Diamonds is a metaphor for Black Africans that were enslaved, taken out of Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, also bred during the domestic slave trade in the US and the colonies of the superpowers of the slave trade. It was first used, black diamonds, to refer to Black Africans during the transatlantic slave trade. It was first used by W.E.B. Du Bois, actually, so as to negate the notion that Black bodies were property and commodities. So he referred to Black people as Black diamonds. So it's a metaphor for Black people uh, and the utility and the emphasis of chattel slavery and use of Black bodies as economic units.
So really, we are precious commodities. I like that.
Yes.
And with that being the case, then we should be treating ourselves and each other as such.
Indeed, indeed. And for Du Bois, Black people, so just to give you a little background again, when Du Bois referred to Black people as Black diamonds, he was also negating the emphasis of uh, racialized criminalization and dehumanization of Black humanity. Okay, because that was the center of the transatlantic slave trade and into chattel slavery as well. See, so he was basically providing uh, 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 he was debunking some of the claims of the philosophers that I deal with here who were asserting Black inferiority and Black dehumanization in their philosophies. Yeah.
So what exactly are you delving into the book? So let's talk about first volume 1 and then we go into volume 2. So what exactly are we diving into with volume 1?
So volume 1, this one establishes the main argument. Volume 1 looks at it starts with Du Bois, but then it looks at how philosophy, particularly philosophy, economic interest, and racial interest became central to the emergence of the transatlantic slave trade, its perpetuation, and the legacies, sustaining the legacies associated with the transatlantic slave trade and its mutation into chattel slavery. So in volume 1, I look at the works of John Locke and Thomas Jefferson. John Locke was a British philosopher and one of the great pioneers of the Enlightenment era, and also a major father of what they call Western liberalism, father of Western liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't also know is that John Locke was a slave trader.
Mm.
John Locke was also hired by the British Parliament. Okay, he worked for the British Parliament as secretary on several levels. He wrote the British Parliament or the British policies with respect to trades, particularly also the transatlantic slave trade and British colonialism. As a matter of fact, John Locke was the one that wrote the first colonial constitution referred to as the fundamental constitution of the Carolinas. You see, so he wrote that, and in that particular constitution, he makes the argument that Black people, that every slave master had absolute right to treat his slave whatever way he or she wanted. So John Locke would write in all of his major writings, will write about Black people invariably, inexplicitly as property, okay, and the inferiority of Black people. Thomas Jefferson will pick up on John Locke's work. You see, just to give you an example, Thomas Jefferson will talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, but John Locke talked about life, liberty, and the pursuit of property as well. So all of that would come from John Locke's. Thomas Jefferson basically plagiarized a lot of John Locke's work. You see, so I called him in this book uh, the Lockean president in the White House. So in this book, I use W.E.B. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass, to deconstruct, because what we are dealing with in light of what's going on and historically is this consistent deconstruction. Black people are engaged in a consistent intellectual deconstruction of some of the claims, okay, of the intellectual godfathers of the West. You see, so in this book, I use Frederick Douglass and W.E.B. Du Bois to deconstruct, you see, but then also looking at particularly Douglass' 4th of July speech as well. You see, so it covers some very poignant areas with respect to the transatlantic slave trade and its mutation into chattel slavery.
So now when you move, I'm sorry. Now when you move on to part 2, do you kind of pick up that work or pick up from that work?
So in volume 2, what I do, so this one, volume 1, looks at the mutation of the transatlantic slave trade into chattel slavery. Volume 2 looks at that particular mutation from chattel slavery into colonialism and what I call the penal slavery. So basically, both books are looking at the intersections, the various intersections of the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, colonialism, whether it's neocolonialism or original colonialism, into penal slavery and the modern penal system, looking at particularly the United States and the United Kingdom. Okay, and with respect to the United Kingdom, the UK, looking at England and Wales and Scotland, and the extent to which what I call the superpowers of the slave trade have basically continued some of the things that they were involved with. Okay, so the emphasis of the transatlantic slave trade, the emphasis of chattel slavery, the emphasis, especially economic interest, has not disappeared. You found that explicitly evident in the modern penal system or penal systems of the UK and the US. So this one looks at that, but mainly, whilst it talks about what I call Lockean slavery and Jeffersonian slavery, I talk about Immanuel Kant. In this book, I look at the works of Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant is one of the most important pioneer of the Enlightenment era. Okay, but Europe or Western intellectual history. He's well known. But this guy, he was also the one that wrote some of the very most disturbing claims asserting white supremacy. Okay, you will find evidence of that with John Locke, Thomas Jefferson, but Immanuel Kant will have some very, very disturbing words for Black people. And as a matter of fact, he would advocate for perpetual and indeterminate enslavement of Black people. Immanuel Kant. Okay? So I look at Immanuel Kant, and then again, like I did in the first book, using Douglas and Du Bois, I use Ida B. Wells and Dr. King and Dr. Du Bois to deconstruct. Okay, so the book itself, both volumes are prescriptive, analytical, and descriptive.
Well, so basically, you're using them to deconstruct those words, the of Kant.
Yes, yes, because you see, Dr. Randa, we are consistently in this place here to establish knowledge. There has been, or there have been, a lot of claims made about Black people. Black people's intellectual ability, capacity, Black people's identity, Black people's humanity. In the West, what is called white supremacy and Western ideology and Western philosophy has been built upon the dehumanization of Black identity, Black humanity. You see, and the assertion of that. And the people who did this are the Western philosophers, Immanuel Kant, John Locke, Hegel, George Hegel, David Hume, Voltaire, Arthur Gabanica. I mean, all these guys, they are the ones, and they are still being read.
And I was actually going to just say that, and because we still see a lot of that today, there are still people who subscribe to that type of thinking who will dehumanize African Americans, and they take that way of thinking to which is why the penal system is still one of the most one of the biggest systems for basically it's like almost legalized slavery right now.
Well, yes, yes. And in this book, I look at the transition also from chattel slavery into the era of the post Civil War, okay, and talk about the 13th Amendment. You see, so in this one, with the end of slavery and the end of the Civil War, 1965, 63, 65, and then you move on to the ratification of the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment, the foundation, what people don't know, the foundation of the 13th Amendment was written by Thomas Jefferson. Okay? It was written by Thomas Jefferson. So with the ratification of the 13th Amendment, what you come across is the sustainability and the indeterminate, inexplicit sustainability of chattel slavery and the concepts of the transatlantic slave trade into penal slavery. And that's what the 13th Amendment is, because the 13th Amendment says slavery is abolished. But slavery shall be used as a form of punishment for those who violate the law. So basically, in the United States, the 13th Amendment, the Constitution of the United States supports slavery so that those who are incarcerated are being enslaved.
And that's what I mean. So you actually make more money off of incarcerating people because it's cheap labor. You put more people behind bars and pay them like basically a nickel a day to do many things that you can't. You're not going to pay somebody who's on the streets a nickel a day to be on a what do you call it, a chain gang, to do manual labor. You're not going to pay them a nickel a day. You put them behind bars, and it's cheap labor and you can get them to do these things. And you call it basically legalized slavery. And then you take away their humanity, and this is what results from that.
So that's a continuation. That's a continuation of the concepts, ideology of the transatlantic slave trade into chattel slavery. Okay, slavery in its unbridled form may have disappeared, but slavery in its conceptual practices continues in the penal system. It's a mutation into the penal system where the bodies of prisoners are used as economic units. So you see, when slavery ended, Black people were enslaved and now they were free. But then there was a mutation into the criminalization, the legal criminalization of Black humanity as criminals. And that's what you find in the 13th Amendment. That's what you find in the penal system of the US and the UK.
Right.
The US and the UK were the two prominent superpowers, including France, were after Portugal. You see, so I talk about what I call the superpowers of the slave trade in these volumes. Who are the superpowers of the slave trade? You have the Dutch, you have the Netherlands, you have the Portuguese, you have the the Germans, you have the British, you have the French, you have the folks from Spain. Okay, so you have the Belgians. Okay, these were the superpowers of this transatlantic slave trade. Furthermore, these are the present colonial masters. They've turned into the colonial masters of colonial masters of Africa or neocolonialism. So Britain are the biggest ones. Okay, and so when you talk about the British Commonwealth of Nations, that is just an evidence of the transatlantic slave trade into chattel slavery, into colonialism.
Wow. So what do you want people to really gain from reading both of these volumes?
So as we come into Black History Month, and as we face a lot of rhetorics and practices with respect to banning books on Black history, okay? The attempt to erase evidence of Black history, the attempt to erase Black achievement, the attack against Black humanity, Black intellectual capacity. You see all of that becoming central, okay, to becoming normative, which is absolutely problematic. You see, you have governors passing laws to literally erase. You have things. I mean, you go to Smithsonian, the eradication of Black History Month, the eradication of Juneteenth. I mean, the emphasis on that. It is absolutely important then for us as intellectuals, Black intellectuals, to begin to raise the need to educate our people. So this book these two volumes are very resource oriented. You can take these books and do your own work on it because the bibliography is very exhaustive. Absolutely exhaustive. The bibliography is very exhaustive. Okay, so again, as Black History Month, I will encourage folks to use these books. You see, there are two volumes, and the interesting thing is going forward. The forward is written by John Wadey. John Wadey is the former director for the Center for the Study of Law and Religion at Emory University School of Law. You see, so it has been vetted by prominent individuals. Okay, and it's been produced and published by Cascade, Whip and Stock. You see,
so
it was
people can actually use it for academic work.
Yes, so it's for academicians, it's for theologians, it's for pastors, it's for students, it's for activists, it's for anyone who is interested in knowing about the intersections of the transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, colonialism, penal slavery into the modern time, or simply Black history And when I talk about Black history, Dr. Rhonda, I'm not only referring here in this context to African American history. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Black people altogether.
Yes.
Okay? Because slavery was about particularly dark-skinned Black people. That's what slavery was about. The intention was particularly to get Black people and to breed Black people. You see, to breed them as well for the domestic slave market in the U.S.
Well, I tell you, you're gonna have something to talk about. You're going to be one of our featured authors in New Orleans this year, for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. You're also going to be doing the speaking circuit. You are a Meet the World Image Solutions client. We're going to be getting you out to speak. If you would like to have Dr. George speak at your organization, at your university, contact Meet the World Image Solutions, so we can talk and we can arrange to have Dr. George come talk with you. And we also will be posting some information on both of his books. We're going to have an article on his Substack very soon. We're about to do some things. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
There's a
And
lot going
folks can,
on. I'm sorry.
and folks can access it. Go to my website as well,
Yes.
which is www.georgewaltersleyon.com.
Yeah.
www.georgewaltersleyon.com. And you can access all of my resources. Again, my 4 other books. And you can just simply Google me, go to academia.ed, and you can read several articles that have been published. I have published as well. Uh, and you can have just the total a bulk of my work as well. They are on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and you can access them and everywhere. But again, I want to encourage folks, get these books. They are good Christmas gift. If you're looking for a long-lasting, impactful Christmas gift, may I suggest The Rush for Black Diamonds, Volume 1 and 2. You will not regret it.
You heard it here, folks. And remember, don't just buy the book. Buy the books, read the books, review the books, do
Right.
all of the things. And also come to the Black History Month Literary Weekend in New Orleans so you can meet Dr. George and he can sign the books. He will sign the books. So, Dr. George, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Black History Month Literary Weekend, and thank you for working with Meet the World Image Solutions. If you missed any part of the show, Dr. George will be back. He will be back on the show, I believe, in January. Yes, he'll be back on the show in January for another interview. And then, like I said, he'll be in New Orleans in February. So we're going to be getting to know him very well. And we'll be getting to know the Rush for Black Diamonds very well. So thank you once again for being on the show. We're looking forward to learning more about this very, very intriguing subjects. This is the way we learn our history because of people like you. So thank you for doing this research for us.
Thank you, Dr. Rhonda. I am very grateful and thank you for the work you are doing as well.
Thank you. Well, I hope to talk with you again soon. You take care.
Okay, and you too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Have a great night.
Hmm.
All right, you guys. This is the end of the show. This is the end of the Horizons Author Lounge for the year 2025. We will see you again in January 2026, and you will start meeting all of the authors who will be a part of the Black History Month Literary Weekend. Don't forget, if you get your tickets during the month of December, you will be getting the early bird price. So just go to www.mtwimagesolutions.com. You will find all of the information that you need to know about the Black History Month Literary Weekend 2026. This is our 10th anniversary. We are doing it huge. Also, you can go to the NOLA.com calendar, community calendar. There will be more information there. You go to Eventbrite and you will find information there as well. And then you can Google me, baby. Just Google me. The information is there as well. Don't forget to go to www.mtwimagesolutions.com and go to the For the Culture Book Awards contest and vote for your favorite author. You have about less than 4 hours left to vote for your favorite author for the Culture Book Awards. Your votes mean something. We have over 1,300 votes in. Last year we had 1,500 votes. Hopefully we will pass 1,500 votes tonight, because these authors have worked so hard and they need your support. And like I said, it's a matter of votes that separate the top 5. So every vote counts. They need your votes tonight. So please get on and vote for your favorite author. I'll show you their picture once again, if I can find it. There it is. These are the authors. Let me see. Daniel, can we move there we go. These are the authors that you're going to be voting for tonight. Make sure you vote tonight, because 5 of these authors are going to be your top 5. I will make that announcement on January 1st, who those top 5 will be. But tonight is the last night to vote for the top 5. And then I have to tabulate, y'all. It's going to take me a little while. So make sure you vote for your top 5. All right. That's all I have tonight, guys. Thank you so very much for all of your support. This has been an amazing, amazing year. I could not have gotten through this year without you all. I love you guys. This show has gone over 1,000 YouTube subscribers this year because of you. This show has grown because of you. We have interviewed countless authors, from brand new authors to celebrities, because of you. Thank you so much. God bless you. There's so much more that we have to do, and 2026 is going to be another banner year because of you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Keep supporting, keep reading. These authors deserve nothing but the best, and you, dear readers, are the best. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful New Year. I will see you all in 2026 if God says the same. God bless you and good night. Bye-bye.